he wanted really, it was really important for him to be here because we know how important this is to my mother. I just explained to him, you know, we're here celebrating my father. So while you're on your business trip, he's going to be in D.C. visiting Arlington Memorial, and he's going to have a tall glass of really, really, really dark beer. So I just want to extend the thanks for my brother for you guys too. He really wishes he'd be here, and he wants to say thank you to you guys. And so thank you for that, and thank you for everybody that's just helped this whole thing to come together, with our friends and family, the Silvas, Brandon, Stacy, my children's mother, Chris, James Squire, for being there for my family, my daughter. Very important. Thank you. You know, as you all know, my father met my mom in Japan. You know, so you can imagine Otosan was gaijin nen, muzukashii nen. So a poor guy, you know. So I understand him going there and being real difficult, but you know, his ultimate optimism and his patience, I think I might have tested that many, many times growing up. And he endured. You know, I'm very proud of him, what he's done for me. And there's this one story, when we lived in Japan, there's this building that they gave to, they were going to donate to some Japanese for some business and some religion, and a little part of it was for him to run the baseball program for our Little League and youth program system. And when he got there, he noticed the roofs were leaking everywhere, and nobody minded it. And he finally asked, and they said, you know, we've paid contractors 2 times to come in here, and it still leaks. So my dad said, you know, let me take a look at it. So he goes up in the attic, and he finds these little coffee cans taking the drips. So you know how smart my dad was. He got buckets. He replaced the coffee cans with buckets. And as about 2-3 years went on, my dad left. They moved his little baseball thing in another area, and the building went to the whole Japanese. And at the time, they were going to stay, leave. But at 3 years, you know, you can imagine these buckets filled up. So as my dad left, these buckets overflowed. They thought it was a sign of greatness for my father. He left. This all came back. It was gone forever. So me, fortunately, as a child, I got to walk around as a king, saying, I hear all this gaijin shit. So every time I go to the Japanese area, I'd get free food. And when they'd ask me my name, I'd tell them my name was Goro. And he was the most popular singer in Japan. And they just couldn't take me serious. And I'd bring my mom into the same supermarkets, and they'd go, that's your son? That's Goro. So through the whole time, you know, my father being in Japan, being real difficult, to join a Japanese lady. She worked on the military base for his Master Chief, and that's how they met. You know, 22-year-olds going to bingo, having fun. I don't know if that was his way to get her to go out. He asked her to show him the sights, and they eventually fell in love. You know, and your story, I'm glad to meet you now. About fishing with my father. You're the one, he stuffed his big fish in bags so you win jackpot so you come back. And the gentleman who played the brass and piano, my favorite things as I get older. It used to be electric guitar, drums. So if I can get a copy of that, I'd love it. That was absolutely beautiful. And I want to thank Bobby, Frank, Matt for doing this. This is huge. This is very huge for my mother. It just means so much. And if you guys ask why it took my father so long to join, there's only 24 hours in a day. You know how busy he was. But you know, he practiced it before he joined. And when he met people like you, because you guys all have the same way of ultimate optimism. You know, there is no negativity. You guys have a bright outlook. And Matt made a comment the other day of father's at peace, he's rejuvenating. So all the stuff he did, tired man, he's rejuvenating. He's getting ready for us. You know, for my daughter says, can't wait to see what he has in store. My first heard it. Were we going to his house for a barbecue? Now I get it, Stephanie. Very powerful words. And I truly want to thank everybody for coming out here. It's huge. And I remember when you first joined in the 80s, and I remember 80s and 90s, you all would come to my house. I think twice as many people here would fit in my house. I remember being 15, 16. I remember counting all the shoes. And there were hundreds of shoes. We'd try them on. It was pretty good, because at that age, you know, the Japanese lady has small feet and they fit. But I just want to thank everybody once again, and my children here. I named my son Lee Clarence Borchard.
Wow.
And I have a grandson named Lee Clarence Borchard.
Wow.
So I don't know if you all know, when he was born, I called my dad from the hospital. I said, hey, we had a boy. He goes, well, what'd you name it? I said, Lee Clarence Borchard. He goes, no, what'd you name it? I said, Lee Clarence Borchard. He said, why would you give a kid a name like that? So, and I don't know if you all know that I was born on my father's birthday. So I have a very special day to treasure.
Wow.
My mom went to the hospital on the 17th. Boy, she was not gonna let that baby go. March 19th. As you know, her religion, all this brought her together to have children. She had them. She came March 19th. Boom, there I came out. It's a boy. She always wanted a boy and girl. Well, the lady in the bed next door had a girl. And my mom said, can we trade? Thank you for not swapping me, Mom. I don't know where I'd be. She had a very, very difficult labor. She almost lost my mom in that labor. But I believe in her beliefs and strengths, and all this is why she's here today. You know, she is the foundation of our family. I don't know if much know about this Butsudan. This was brought here in '74 by the sensei. From what I understand, it's the only one in the United States here. And this sensei who brought this here, one day looked at Cass, Master Chief, and the sensei gave Cass his beads. And says, I think you need these more than I. So as Cass took them, Cass seen me today, walked up to me, handed me the same beads. And I heard what you told me. So I'm going to carry the spirit out for you.
Cool.
This is unreal.
Yeah.
Really, because I see all the plastic ones, the green ones. These so these will never go anywhere. These will be cherished.
Cool. Cool.
Until the day I see somebody that needed them like myself, and I see where it brought you, so I know they work.
They do.
I will pass them on when
Cool.
time needs to be. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And go Navy.
My name is Gary. I'm Lee's oldest grandson, Gary Jr. This is actually something I wrote for his funeral, so if you've already heard it, I'm sorry. My grandpa was the most outgoing and energetic person I've ever known. He would go out of his way to do anything he could for anyone. I can only hope to become half the man he was. To describe how wonderful of a person my grandpa was and how much I wish to be just like him, I don't think there are enough pens and paper in the world. He is truly my idol, to say the least. The way he lived and dealt with everything was absolutely remarkable. From how organized and on time he was for everything, to how he brought out the positive and best in every situation. There was no negative to that man. Every time I went to him upset or confused, I would leave smiling and at ease. I can only hope to do the same for the people in my life for the years to come. The first few times I had to deal with people close to me dying, I felt as if the pain was unbearable and wondered if it would ever go away. I would go to my grandpa for the support and peace of mind that I could always count on. On one occasion, I told my grandma and grandpa that they were my best friends and I didn't know what I was going to do when I lost them. My grandpa explained to me how long and happy a life he lived and told me everybody dies, buddy. And not to be sad when he dies, but to get up and do a speech for him. I will miss his clever sayings, like whenever one of us would ask if he had our favorite snack, he would say, if we don't have it, they don't make it. Or after a lousy day of fishing, he would say, well, buddy, the worst day of fishing is better than the best day of work. I'm a little jealous that my grandpa and Justin will be fishing probably every day, but I know that I will someday join them again. Until then, I know my grandpa will be watching over us as our guardian angel, just as he always has been. Go Navy.
First off, I want to say how happy I am to see everybody here, and thank you for having us. My grandpa's looking down on us with his huge smile. He would be so happy to see all of us celebrating the amazing life that he lived. Words cannot explain the love I had for him. His love for me was never ending. When I fell, he picked me up. When I was hungry, he stuffed me till I was full. When I needed help with homework, he was there to solve my problems. He touched my life in a way no one will ever be able to. There will always be a void in my heart. I will miss watching the Dodger games with him. I will miss getting the phone calls about my favorite player hitting a home run when he knew I wasn't able to watch the games. I will miss his laugh and stories he told that he never missed any details. I will miss his Navy breakfast, but most of all, I will miss seeing him sitting in his kitchen chair, leaning back, extending his arms, ready to give me a hug and a kiss. I wish I could get one more hug, because this time I would never let go. I love you so much, Grandpa.
Thank you all for coming, and I'm Leroy, so I'm the one named after him, and it's an honor to carry on his name, and he's an amazing person. And I remember I would always get in trouble when he would always tell me, you give me a bad name. And he would always talk to me and give me information and give me facts about life, and he would always help me out and give me advice. And every time he would tell me something, he would always end with a story. And I don't know, all I know is he just told me stories all the time, and I could listen to him for days, and he just made me really happy, and he was the greatest person I ever met.